He's bouncing off my booty cheeks. I love the way he rides. I can hardly breathe when he's pumping deep inside. I kiss him on his neck and then he kisses on my pussy. Call him daddy while I holler, man, that boy's so damn good looking.
And the banger is still the intro song of this podcast. Welcome, everybody, to the Trainwreck Podcast, episode 23. It's our Jordan episode. Sorry, LeBron, you're cool too, but this is the Jordan episode. Drew, how are you doing tonight, buddy?
Let's go, Raider Nation. We get a win this for once.
Yeah, I say y'all are the winners of a really, really crappy game. I mean, Jimmy G played really good, actually.
Yeah, he was doing really good. It's just Josh Jacobs wasn't running as much as I thought he would.
Dude, I didn't know he changed his jersey number.
And I'll get to later on the podcast about what's going on.
Oh, yeah, when we do our predictions. So
Yeah.
special announcement tonight. Our buddy Zach is going to be joining us on the podcast tonight. We're going to have a 3-man crew predicting week 2 of the NFL season with us. And it's something I'm really excited for. Not saying I don't love Drew, but I'm happy to have a new face on here, you know?
Yeah,
Um,
this ain't just the two idiots this time. There's three of
yeah,
them now.
I don't know. Zach's pretty smart. Zach knows his football. He's also who I get a lot of my gambling advice from, and I was thinking about making that a segment on this show. But as much, and the only thing is now we have 2 Raiders fans. I gotta get another Cowboys fan on here. But I'll say it, but I can't be loud because people in my house are sleeping. How about them Cowboys?
You guys destroyed the Giants.
Yeah, did you see the title of my video? That's exactly what I called it.
Yeah, I watched your video. It was a good video.
Thank you. I was drunk when I recorded it.
Yeah,
I was
Drunk Cody
I
makes
was
some good videos.
I know it definitely makes me flow a little better. I mean, I think some of our best podcasts are when I had a few shots in, you know, makes me a little less nervous, a little less jumpy, you know, because I mean, it is kind of nerve wracking sometimes putting yourself out there because you never know who's going to pop into your stream. You know, I had a stream once where I had like 2,000 people watching me at once. And like it was back when I had my little handheld microphone and my hands are shaking like this. And you couldn't really hear me because I couldn't keep the microphone close to my mouth. And yeah, like, I had to watch it this morning just to see if I uh had to delete it because I mean usually beer doesn't like do anything to me, but I didn't have anything to eat before the game started and
Oh shit.
I don't really like eating during Cowboys games because I'm screaming and jumping and I don't want to choke to death, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so those Dos Equis, they were hitting me pretty good last night. Let's see, how much alcohol does Dos Equis have? Only 4.2. They taste like they have a lot more.
Yeah, those
But
Kasegis are delicious.
I know. I wish I had some lime last night. I had some lemon juice, but that didn't really work as well. But salt and lime with the Dos Equis, it's not the same as a margarita, but it's still pretty dang good. One of my dreams is if I ever get famous enough to get an endorsement deal, I want to be the next most interesting man, the dude from the Dos Equis commercials.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't always drink beer, but when I do, I prefer Dos Equis. That dude's a freaking beast. What's his name? I'm looking him up right now. But
No,
both of
it's
our
probably
team,
Fat Hodge Johnson.
but both of our teams got a win this week. Mine was a little more dominant, but I mean, we both picked the Raiders to win, and it was kind of like an upset pick, you know, because I'm pretty sure the Broncos were favored, but Russell Wilson kind of looks like the same old Russ from last year.
Yeah, Max probably put some pressure on Russell, and you could definitely
Yeah.
tell that affected him a lot.
Yeah. And then Jimmy G had a really good game.
JBG had a good game. Even our rookie defensive end, our Wilson, he had a really
Mhm.
good game with the pressure.
And Jacoby Myers, he had a great game as well.
Kobe had a monster game.
Yeah. One quick thing, just because I'm going to put this in the title of the video, and I know it's probably what people are going to come for. Jets fans, do you want to talk about it? uh, all that offseason hype and first series of the game, Aaron Rodgers is hurt. And I'm not saying I wish injury on anyone, but Aaron Rodgers is a prick, and I don't feel bad about it. And so right now it is 2 minutes and 30 seconds left here in the second quarter. Bills are up 10-3. And who has the ball right now? The Bills do. So y'all are in some deep stuff.
Yeah, the Jets don't get cursed off on my what I think.
I'm reading the news report right now. It says there's a negative x-ray on his ankle, so that means it's not broken at least. So I guess you guys got that because at first I thought it might have been a torn Achilles.
Then watch when Aaron Rodgers goes down and he's out for a while, and Zach Wilson just starts balling out.
I know that would be poetic, but I mean Zach Wilson has looked good so far. Like let's look at his stat line real quick. But then again, the Jets don't have any touchdowns on the board. He's 5 of 8 for oh 5 of 8, 41 yards, and he just threw an interception. Oh man. It's what you deserve for trying to buy a Super Bowl, though. By the way, that Dos Equis guy, his name is Jonathan Goldsmith,
Sounds about
and
right.
and he does look like the most interesting man in the world. Beast. I hope I look that good when I'm 84. Yeah, Jets fans, I don't feel bad for you, especially since you play the Cowboys next week. So if that pussy Aaron Rodgers can not play next week, because as I said in my stream, the boogeyman comes to town.
They're from New York. They deserve it anyways.
Yeah, I know this is now the second worst thing to happen to New York on this day.
Oh my god. I should not be laughing, but damn.
Uh, I mean, fuck, it's 22 years later.
True.
Actually, God, I felt like an asshole earlier, so I had to go and get my license renewed. And I was signing the papers and it went to date, and I was like, "What's today's date?" And I was trying to think, and I remember this morning seeing the 9/11 coverage on there, and I was like, "Oh," and I was like, "Oh, I feel like an asshole now," because I but then I had like a joke in my head, and I glad I didn't say it out loud. I'm glad I didn't ask the lady what the date was, but I had a joke in my head going like, well, enough people on Facebook didn't tell me to never forget, so I forgot. And then I was like, that's an asshole thing to think.
Oh,
But I
that's
mean,
hilarious.
but for on the real note, I mean, one of the greatest tragedies in American history. I mean, heck, you see the news reports about the people that still deal with the dust, them inhaling the dust and all that. And I mean, it is incredibly sad. It's also one of the most fascinating days in American history, just from the fallout of it, not talking conspiracy theory wise, but I feel like if 9/11 never happened, then I don't think George Bush would have got reelected for a second term. I feel like gas, I mean, it's high right now, but I have a feeling it would have been a lot higher a lot sooner. And I feel like the recession that hit in 2008 probably would have hit a lot sooner.
Yeah.
But then again, maybe the government would have focused more on maintaining the economy instead of going to war. But I mean, that also, the World Trade Center getting destroyed screwed up the US economy as well. So, not just the moral aspect of it, of all the lives lost, but the political fallout and all that came from it as well. I mean, when you do a deep dive of it, like I said, it's one of the most fascinating days in history. And I feel like 50 years from now, I don't know if it'll be looked at as the same as Pearl Harbor, just because, well, it might be because, like, Pearl Harbor happened almost 80 years ago, and now no one even thinks about it. I don't know if 9/11 will ever reach that territory, but I don't know. It kind of feels like the more and more we get, where it's like, okay, it happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, now more people kind of look at like, oh, January 6th was our 9/11. It's like, no, not even on the same scale. Those people are fucking children who think that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But dude, so going back to the Cowboys game, by the way, people, for the next 6 months, this is probably going to be nothing but a sports broadcast.
Yep.
Um,
So
just letting you
something
know.
crazy happens.
Yeah. I mean, we'll talk about other stuff, but this is going to be a sports broadcast. Hell, we just got on a serious kind of political tangent right there that may or may not be edited out. um,
Or that's future
but
Cody's decision to find out.
what
That's future Cody's decision to find out.
I know. Oh hell, I stay up too late editing this thing anyway. Sorry, I saw that Zach texted the group chat.
Good.
Tell him we tell him like we'll be here in like or be ready in like 20 minutes. But moving on to the Dallas Cowboys, Micah Parsons, Trayvon Diggs, Demarcus Lawrence, all the beasts I have on my defense are going to carry us to a lot of wins because I was not impressed with Mike McCarthy's play call. And I said as much on my live stream last night. I don't like how he came out bang, bang, bang with the pass. He didn't establish the run. You use the run to set up the pass. And I don't feel like Mike McCarthy did a good job of that. So hopefully this next week with the Jets, we come out running a little bit more and that'll set up the play action and put Dak Prescott in a good position where they're not loading up the box. Um, like thinking like, oh, when they pass it, we can play it short and underneath, have those guys push back a little bit so you can open up that little short passing that a West Coast offense needs.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like
So,
with your Cowboys right now, don't your defense, your special teams really carried that game.
yeah.
That's what
Except
the
our,
majority of your points came from, is your special teams and defense.
yeah. Well, I mean, yeah. I mean, we did score three offensive touchdowns. They were all rushing. Tony Pollard had two, and then Devontae Turpin ran for one as well.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, it was 2 minutes left before our offense even took the field because the defense spotted them a 14-point lead.
Did Deuce Vaughn play that game?
Yeah, he had 6 carries for 8 yards. He played in garbage time.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of unfortunate.
Yeah. I'm surprised they didn't give him more carries. They went with Rico, or I guess he's officially the backup running back. He had 6 carries for 24 yards, which is pretty good. And then Devontae Turpin, who's like our fifth string wide receiver. They used him kind of in the Deebo Samuel role, and he had 3 carries for 14 yards and a touchdown. Cowboys got creative on offense. I like them using Cavante Turpin as a tailback just because he is really fast and he doesn't offer much as a receiver.
That
Um,
is interesting because that's not really the Cowboys' way.
yeah, but if they're going this more West Coast style and basically kind of maybe copying what the 49ers are doing, I think that's a good idea. And it makes sense. I mean, Mike McCarthy, before he became the head coach of the Packers, he was the offensive coordinator in San Francisco. So I bet you he still pays pretty close attention. I wouldn't surprise me if he still had contacts there that are
Was that under the
useful.
Harbaugh era?
No, this was well before Harbaugh.
Oh, okay.
This was like 2006, 2007.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
because he became the Packers head coach in like 2008.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So yeah, very proud of the defense, very proud of special teams, except for our kicker. He missed an extra point. Um, Dak Prescott, I mean, I don't even know what you can really call that game because he threw it 24 times, completed 13 of them for 100 something yards, no touchdowns, no interceptions. Um, Other than CeeDee Lamb, no receiver caught more than 2 passes. CeeDee Lamb had 4 for like 78 yards.
Now, here's the thing. Do you think the Trey Lance trade's getting into his head now?
No, I think it's more of he got spotted a 14-point lead and didn't have to do anything really.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, true. You don't really have to hustle that much.
Because I mean, Trey Lance wasn't even active for that game.
Yeah.
Yeah,
At the same time, it's like you don't want to get too lazy and like let the Giants no they've slept on the Giants to take the lead.
yeah.
You want to see some hustle, but not too much.
Hmm. But I posted a photo of me wearing my Tony Romo jersey on Saturday. It was bait to get people to start talking shit, you know? Oh my God, I had so much fun texting people. It was fun. I sent you the one in the group chat. That one was good. And
You gotta
then
let me know his response.
I'll send it to you. It was just a pussy response.
Yeah,
But
typical.
but then the 49ers fan that we know, he didn't say anything.
But yeah, you guys' defense like helped out my fantasy a whole lot.
Yeah, I know. I have them on fantasy in another league. And yeah, they did. They won me that game because I was down going into it. And hopefully I win in our league because I'm facing Zach actually, and he has Garrett Wilson left.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I was pretty
so
much winning the rest of the Cowboys did all that. I was pretty much nail in the coffin.
yeah.
Oh my God, what a cuck.
I know. I was like, that's a pussy response.
At least own up to it.
I know. I wanted to be like, who's your team, bitch? 'Cause I never see him post about the NFL. Kind of same with Adam though, but he actually has been cool about the Cowboys lately.
I know. I figured go talk some shit about it.
Yeah, I mean, if they would have lost, he would have. But
Oh yeah.
yeah, but no, he was actually cool this week. I was surprised. The
I
Bills
think
are now
because he
up.
was faced his brother's team.
Yeah, I know.
That's probably
I hope
why.
I hope he sent that meme that I told him to show him. An interesting piece from the Athletic today. So the Giants, they had a horrible night last night, and to top it all off, they are the first team to have a blocked field goal returned for a touchdown, lose a game 40-0 or worse, lose a sack battle 7-0 or worse, lose the turnover battle 3-0 or worse, and throw a pick six. No team has ever done that in a season. The Giants
Well,
did it all in
one
one
game.
game. That was the most amazing stat. And so, what do you think is going to happen with the Giants? Do you think they aren't going to go to the playoffs this year?
No, I knew they weren't going to play out in the first place.
Yeah.
I think this is pretty much shows who the Giants are.
I mean, the NFC is really weak. I mean, Minnesota looked bad against Tampa. Kirk Cousins lost 2 fumbles, you know. Tampa actually looked pretty good. Baker Mayfield, our boy, had a great game.
Well, when
The
people start talking
Saints,
shit about Baker, that's when he plays his best.
yeah.
Now, speaking of talking shit, you see the Tua game?
Dude, I think I owe him an apology.
I knew he was going to ball out.
I mean,
I knew when people start talking shit about Tua, that's when Tua balls out.
yeah. I mean, I remember the game he had last year against the Ravens where he threw for almost 500 yards. And now this year, week one, coming out the gate, but the Chargers defense, I think, sucks. They have a lot of talent, but Brandon Staley's going to be gone after this season, even if the Chargers make the playoffs.
Yeah, this is
And
pretty
it's
much
going to be,
guaranteed Brandon Staley's last season.
yeah, and that's the thing. It's going to be hard for them to make the playoffs because they ain't winning the division, even though Kansas City lost. Travis Kelce will be back next week, and Mahomes will develop better chemistry with the receivers. You might have to put some super glue on Kadarius Toney's hands, but um, you also got the Raiders. They're a threat in that division. We don't know about the Broncos yet, but then the rest of the AFC, you got the Bills. Let's see how long Aaron Rodgers is out. The Patriots, I mean, they didn't win, but they looked good against the Eagles. The Dolphins just whooped their
Good with
ass.
like some major exposure. I will say about the Patriots.
I mean, the Eagles did a bad job calling plays. Like they completely botched the fourth quarter. And I mean, they were up 16-0 at one point and let the Patriots come back. Um, I don't know if the Eagles just got lazy or what was going on, or maybe they were trying to keep it interesting since Tom Brady was in the house. But the Patriots rushing game sucked. Ezekiel Elliott, 7 carries for 29 yards. Ramondre Stevenson, 12 carries for 25 yards. So,
Yeah, it does suck. Like, I'm still good fantasy points, so I ain't that complaining much.
yeah. But Mac Jones had to throw it 54 times, and that's not really his strong suit.
Yeah,
And
he's not a pocket passer.
yeah, well, he is a pocket passer because he's not a scrambler, but he's just inexperienced. He's not good at reading the defense.
He's like a Ryan, like a young Ryan Tannehill.
Yeah, yeah.
If you don't, he doesn't have a throw on. He's good. He has to throw on, and yeah, you're losing the game.
I mean, that's a perfect example because look at Tannehill this past Sunday, 3 interceptions. Only thing with the Titans though is the two guys that can replace him suck even worse than he does.
Where are their backups, by the way? I'm curious about
Malik
that.
Willis and Will Levis.
Oh,
Malik
yeah, that
Willis
explains a
is
lot.
yeah, Malik Willis I think is the worst quarterback I have ever seen. And Will Levis puts mayonnaise in coffee, so he should be in prison.
No way. Are you
Yeah,
serious?
yeah, yeah. Malik Willis is his career stats: 51% completion percentage, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, 278 yards passing, and 8 games played, 3 starts. So in
See,
three,
here's the thing about Malik Lewis. I think I'll give some benefit of doubt. I think he's been held with the wrong hand. Haven't got a coach actually develop him. Because
yeah,
Tennessee Titans just suck.
yeah,
And Ryan Tannehill is not that guy. Be that bridge quarterback for him.
no, yeah. The
So if I was
Titans,
the Titans, I'd at least try to trade him for a
mm,
low pick, and that'll benefit both parties.
yeah. I don't know. I don't think anyone would take him. But then again,
Eh,
I didn't think anyone would take Trey Lance either, and my team ended up fucking doing it. So what do I know?
who knows? Your team might trade for Mike Lewis as well.
I I will go down to Dallas and slap Jerry Jones if he does. So we trade a fourth round pick for Trey Lance. If we trade anything more than the last pick in the draft, which actually has value now, because look at Brock Purdy. um, if we trade anything more than a seventh rounder for that motherfucker, I will go to Dallas and slap Jerry Jones, and then I will be arrested probably.
No, you become Jerry Jones' little plaything.
Hey, I wouldn't mind that. He's rich as shit.
I need me a
Hey,
sugar daddy anyways.
I will be his sugar baby for the right price, and that right price is probably $2,000.
Damn, you're cheap. As your
What?
legal consultant, Cody, raise the price.
As my pimp, raise the price. But did any other topics that you wanted to bring up before we bring Zach in here and do these predictions? Actually, I guess I wrote down notes. Oh, bad week for Joe Burrow to get a new contract. He looked horrible.
How the fuck did he lose that game?
They just looked like shit. And I mean, that's the thing. The Browns offense didn't look that good either. Deshaun Weinstein, he still played like crap.
Yeah, the
Nick,
convicted felon made him look. They made him look a convicted felon look good.
yeah, Nick Chubb had a good game. Uh,
Yeah, he did.
but Joe Burrow sucked. 14 of 31 for 82 yards and 4 quarters of play. Joe Mixon, 13 carries, 56 yards, not too bad. But yeah, Deshaun Watson did have a good day rushing, 5 carries for 45 yards and a touchdown. Nick Chubb, 18 carries, 106 yards and a touchdown. But passing wise, Watson, 154 yards. That's still not that impressive. Got sacked 3 times and he threw one of the worst interceptions you'll see. And Nick Chubb also had 4 catches for 21 yards. Nick Chubb is going to be the reason the Browns have any success this year. And I don't think they will.
Between him and Miles Garrett.
Yeah. God, did you see Miles Garrett practicing his basketball skills right before he almost killed Joe Burrow?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That
Miles
was
Garrett's a
hilarious.
beast. Yeah. Miles Garrett's a beast. He may be an attempted murderer for Mason Rudolph, but he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. And Miles Garrett, he's one of those dudes you forget that he was the first overall pick.
Yeah, and that actually turned out really well.
Yeah. I know. I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, who is the best first overall pick of like the last 10 years? And I was thinking it's got to be Joe Burrow. And well, and it still probably is Joe Burrow after, taking the team to the Super Bowl. But after last last week, it didn't look like it.
Yeah, he looked like fucking Ryan Tannehill, basically. Ryan Tannehill,
Yeah.
Kirk Cousins kind of play.
Yeah. Kirk Cousins was awful too. Because if you're looking at the last 10 first overall picks, Eric Fisher, first overall pick by the Chiefs in 2013, he's a free agent right now. He won 1 Super Bowl and made 2 Pro Bowls. So I'd put him in good.
Not first overall, good,
Yeah.
but good.
Jadeveon Clowney, it's bounced around the league. He was only with the Texans for like 4 years. And
Very injury
Clowney,
prone.
yeah. And Clowney is really good, but obviously no one wants him. He's on his fifth team. 2015, that was Jameis Winston. Enough said.
Yep.
2016, Jared Goff took a team to a Super Bowl, just beat the defending champs. Looks like he's on a career resurgence, but got traded from the team that drafted him, even after taking them to a Super Bowl.
Yep.
2017, Miles Garrett, we just talked about him. I think he's on a Hall of Fame trajectory. Baker Mayfield, who we love, drafted first overall in 2018, but also isn't with the team that drafted him anymore and has bounced around the league.
Honestly,
But
thank God.
yeah, 2019, Kyler Murray might be off the Cardinals next year if they get Caleb Williams.
Yeah,
20,
they're pretty much going to like the typical Cardinals thing. They get a
yeah,
cool quarterback and then trade him off and get another quarterback.
yeah, Cardinals are one of the worst teams in NFL history.
Yeah.
Been around for 100 years and don't have a Super Bowl. 2020, Joe Burrow just got paid top 5 quarterback in the league. Didn't have a great game last week, but I mean they also started off 0-2 last year and made it to the AFC Championship. So I'm not too worried about them. They still got T. Higgins, Jamar Chase, Tyler Boyd. So Burrow is another very good first overall pick.
Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence just took the Jacksonville Jaguars to the playoffs last year. MVP candidate this year. Needs to work on the turnovers, but he's in year 3. He had a pretty strong start.
Yeah, he started to polish real well.
Yeah, him and Calvin Ridley look like they're going to be a deadly combo, and I'm not just saying that because they're on my fantasy team. Trayvon Walker, Jacksonville Jaguars. He had 2 sacks yesterday, but it's too soon to tell with him. Plus, he's a defensive guy that was taken first overall, so
Yeah.
too soon to tell. Same with Bryce Young. I mean, he didn't look good yesterday, but it was his first start, so those 2 dudes are too soon to tell.
We'll
But
be leading for those two.
yeah, but I think that killed enough time. I think it's time for us to get Zach in here and get these predictions started. All right, everybody. We are now joined by our good buddy Zach. He's going to be here helping us predict the games for week 2. Zach, you got anything you want to say, bro?
Uh, Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it.
I appreciate you
Not a
being on here,
problem.
man.
Not a problem. You're always welcome to the Trainer Rep podcast.
Yeah, it's already been a shit show so far. I'm going to have some editing to do later. So thank you for being on here, bro. And it
Yeah,
was
no
a
problem,
very,
bro.
very chaotic week 1. Zach, I don't know if you saw, but Aaron Rodgers got injured on his first series with the Jets.
Yeah, his fourth play, man. His fourth play.
Yes. So that game is still going on. We're going to go ahead and call it a Buffalo win. And
Yep. That's what I'll say.
so we're kicking week 2 off on Thursday Night Football, Minnesota Vikings at Philadelphia Eagles. Minnesota looked terrible against Tampa Bay, and the Eagles are a way better team. So I think it's going to be a repeat of last year's game, and I think the Eagles are going to blow them out. I'm going to go 31-17. Zach, what about you?
Honestly, I'm gonna go with the Eagles because, like you said, the Vikings did not look good at all. And the score that I predict, I'll probably go with like a good 31-17 Eagles. Yeah.
Yeah, you got the same score as me. Drew, what about you, bro?
Seeing what I was thinking, the Eagles didn't. The Eagles look sloppy during the Patriots game,
Yeah.
so I think it's honestly gonna be a little bit more closer game than you guys are projecting.
Mhm.
The Vikings they don't look good, but their hand they still have Justin Jefferson. That defense is nothing to sleep on still, in my opinion. It probably like 28-21.
I mean, I could see it just because it's a short turnaround for the Eagles because, it's only 3 days to clean up that sloppiness. Because, yeah, they almost gave that game away to the Patriots. They started out with that big lead and then let the Patriots come back. So definitely something
Right.
they're going to have to work on.
I don't honestly, I don't. I guess see them lose to be honest too, because they don't really have like that dominant running back one right now.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a good point, but all three of us are going with the Eagles.
Yeah,
Yep.
I, Green Bay Packers at Atlanta Falcons. The Falcons were carried by their two running backs, Tyler Algier and Bijan Robinson. Desmond Ritter, didn't throw for that many yards. He had a good completion percentage, 15 of 18, but he wasn't the reason that the Falcons won that game. It was their defense and their running backs. Jordan Love looked really great, but he was also playing the Bears. And I feel
yeah,
bad for
true.
Bears fans. They were like, "Oh, Rodgers is gone. It's our time." And then Jordan Love smacks them around, and they've now lost 9 straight to the Packers. I am going to roll with the Packers on this, but the key for the Falcons is going to be keeping the ball away from Jordan Love and using those good running backs. But I don't know. The Packers should probably have Christian Watson back, and I think I'm predicting them to win.
Is it my
Zach, what
go?
about you? Yeah.
Well, to be honest, yeah, like if Christian Watson, well, regardless, I got Green Bay regardless. But if
Mm.
Watson's back, then for sure Green Bay's like gonna probably kill these cats. Uh, to be honest, like the Falcons, they got good running backs, but they just need a quarterback. That's it, man.
Mm.
And they might be doing something because Drake London, he didn't do nothing at all last week at all. And
Yeah.
I'm going to go ahead and go with Green Bay hitting a good 35 to Falcons, probably at most 10. We'll go 10.
Yeah, I could definitely see it. I feel bad for anyone that thinks this is going to be Kyle Pitts' year to finally break out because I mean, the first 2 years have been any indicator. He's on his way to being a draft bust, him being drafted 4th overall, and he hasn't really done
Yep.
anything in this league. Drew, what about your
He
prediction,
had
man?
that 1 year.
Yeah.
See, then I'm going to kind of repeat myself, like I said last week. That if they're going to want to win the Falcons, if the Falcons want to win this week, they're going to have to use all their weapons for point A to point Z, and that's how they pretty much won last week. Is kind of use all their weapons and let the defense pretty much carry the game. But at the same time, the Packers are just a way better team. They have more, way more weapons. The defense is a little bit more nastier than the Falcons. And or that Jordan Love is just a little bit more refined than the Falcons quarterback. In my opinion, it's going to be the Packers going to win, but it might be a little bit more closer game. I think the Falcons running back duo is going to carry them a little bit more. Yeah, probably going to say like 35-21. It's gonna be a little bit high scoring game, in my opinion.
Mm.
I
Now,
like
for
that.
the
I like
two
that.
Raiders fans that are now in this call, Las Vegas Raiders at Buffalo Bills. Uh, which one of you two wants to take this one first? I'm sitting out on this. I'm picking the Bills. You guys can both hate me, but I'll let you guys just take your expertise on this.
You go ahead,
If
Zach.
Drew, what? All right, all right. Well, honestly, like I'm gonna go ahead and go with you, Cody, because I don't think we have the defense for Josh Allen. You know what I'm saying? Like
Mm.
we're a decent defense. We're not good, but we looked bad last week. We looked bad. With Chandler Jones being out, I don't know how long he's going to be out. I don't even know if he's ever going to play with us again. But we got to get something going, you know.
Yeah, definitely.
But I think honestly, I hate to say this to be a Raiders fan, but I think they're going to really probably. I wouldn't say beat us bad, but they're gonna win by a good 10, and I'd probably say it'll probably be like 28-14 or 17, something like that.
I mean, that's not there's no shame in losing a team that is a Super Bowl favorite, you know.
Yeah, and I mean they've been what is it conference? Their conference or whatever. I can't either
Division.
divisional. Yeah, they're division champions for what, like
Yeah.
6 years now or something.
I think three. They've won it every year since Brady left the Patriots.
Yeah, that's good. Good
Drew,
stuff.
what are your thoughts on this game?
So I got something to bring up. I know it's Hunter Renfrow didn't play last game. That's kind of leads to the conclusion it's going to get traded this season. So I wonder if you're going to get a little bit more play activity this game because if we're going to win, we're going to use all three of three hydras of our wide receiver, Adams, Myers, and Hunter Renfrow. And knowing that, we got to bring our tight end Myers. He needs to
Mhm.
get a little more refining, a little more play activity. And Josh Jacobs is going to have Josh Jacobs needs to get back up with his consistency. Him and
Yeah.
Samir White.
Yeah, because I
It's
mean 19 carries for 48 yards is not good.
no, especially a 1,000-yard running back.
Yeah, because he averaged 2.5
I
yards
mean,
a
but
carry.
isn't Broncos defense considered like top five defense in the league? I
I
think
mean,
that's what I heard.
I mean, it's a good run stuff for defense, but for Josh Jacobs, this is kind of
I
lackluster
mean,
for poor
yeah, he was
Josh.
number one last year, so he should have more than that. I feel you.
I feel
But
like some of his
also, Jacoby Myers, I think he's out with a concussion, so he probably won't even be playing.
That's true. There's reason why we got to get on Renfrow in the game plan quick. We can't let him
Yeah,
keep sitting out.
and
Broncos
Max
had the
Crosby can't be the only one making plays on defense.
True.
Broncos had the third best rushing defense last year. So
Yeah, and
But
usually,
here's the
go
thing
ahead.
about with our offensive line, the Bills' defensive line it's scary, and it's already one of the best pass rushers. And one of our offensive line is trash.
yeah,
I mean,
because
yes,
I
we
mean
got
the
Colton Miller that can hold to the left, but everything else is it's a toss up.
yeah, because the Bills have abused Zach Wilson because I got that game on over here and they're whooping Zach Wilson's ass.
So here's the thing with Jimmy G. If Jimmy, this is gonna be scary for Jimmy G because if he gets hit, gets injured again,
You guys
and we
get
put
Aiden
a
O'Connell. You should be rooting for that. Root for to get Aiden O'Connell on the field.
Dude,
but I don't
Jimmy
want
G
a
got hurt last game, and they put Brian Hoyer in.
Really?
Yes, I promise. He went down with like just like Aaron Rodgers, and then they went to the tent. Next drive, he came running out onto the field like he was ready to go, so they put him back in.
Really?
It was so scary as a Raider fan, just knowing that we probably just wasted our whole year. But he got back out.
Uh,
yeah. It's the thing is I want Aiden O'Connell's first game versus the Bills defense. They'll
that's
just
true.
tear him up.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Anything else about this game?
Yeah.
No, we're good.
All right.
I'm gonna pick the Bills to win,
Okay.
but I could see a Raiders upset to be honest. but
I could
gonna
see
say
I could
28 to
see it.
21. I think it's gonna be a lot closer than when we think.
Moving on, Ravens at Bengals. Bengals looked horrible in week 1 against the Cleveland Browns. Joe Burrow didn't even throw for 100 yards and he played 4 quarters. Baltimore, on the other hand, Lamar Jackson wasn't that impressive. Drew, you called it. You said that Lamar Jackson was going to throw an interception, and he did. And he also didn't throw for any touchdowns. And they didn't really get their receivers involved. Zay Flowers had a great game, but OBJ, I don't think he even registered a catch. But this has to be a get right game for the Bengals. I feel like it's going to be a high scoring affair. I'm going 41-38 Bengals.
Well, honestly, neither of these teams looked good last week at all. So
Yeah.
if Joe Burrow don't get his head on straight, then their team might just not go to the playoffs at all. But you know, last week J.K. Dobbins, he went out with that ACL injury, and it's something. I think it might be something to do with their field. They might need to change something up there for their players. But I think it's going to be a low scoring game. I'm going to go ahead and go with Ravens to win in this one. And then I'm going to go ahead and go with go ahead. I'm going to think about what I want to score it, but go ahead.
I say you don't have to give a score if you don't want to.
Okay.
Yeah, say we didn't do that last week. We only did it for some of the games. I mean, Lamar Jackson, I think, can run all over the Bengals because he's done it before, and that's going to be the key to the Ravens' victory. Drew, what's your prediction?
So, I think this is gonna be the Joe Burrow turnaround. I think he's gonna bust some of the rust off, and I think he's gonna actually play out a good game. This is gonna be the game. This is gonna be the reason why he's gonna be MVP, in my opinion. With the Ravens, since J.K. Dobbins is out and they got another running back out. Now they have Gus Edwards as running back 1. It's not looking good for them. And yes, they have a good wide receiver core, but their tight ends, Mark Andrews, is still questionable. Their left tackle is questionable. Their center is questionable. Their free safety is questionable. Their Humphrey is questionable. They got a lot of injuries coming up for them. So I'm going to say the Bengals go to win. I think it's going to be like a 35-14. I think Lamar Jackson's going to be contained.
I don't know if it's going to be a blowout like that, dude. Not with how the Bengals looked last week.
Yeah, but I'm not convinced the Ravens.
Josh Allen just threw his second interception, by the way. Jets had the ball down by 7 at the end of the third quarter. Seattle Seahawks at Detroit Lions. The Seahawks look like absolute dog shit against the Rams, and the Rams I don't think are a good team. The Lions have all the momentum in the world coming off a big win against the defending champs. Yeah, I'm going with the Lions by a lot until the Seahawks do something to prove me otherwise. Yeah, I'm rolling with the Lions. I'm on their hype train. And yeah. Zach, what about you, bro?
Honestly, I'm on the hype train too. Go Detroit, honestly, because dude, they've been down for so long, just like the Raiders, and I just want to. I'm tired of seeing the same teams. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
the same teams going. It's good to see a new team. They're all young too, and that's good. And I love their coach. Their coach is like, it almost makes me want to cry seeing his videos whenever he just comes out and he's just like talking about his team and stuff like that, and he like gets coughed or like choked up and stuff. I'm like, man. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Lions. Geno Smith. I mean, I'm not gonna. It's gonna be a close game because Geno Smith's a fighter, and I don't know who's all on that defense anymore. I really didn't get to see their game last week, but I'm going with the Lions for sure.
Yeah, if there was like jerseys for coaches, I would buy a Dan Campbell one.
For real.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that man.
For real. He's a good coach.
I want to say to the Lions fans, thank you for beating the Chiefs Fuck the Chiefs. Fuck you, Chiefs fans. You just gotta be a
Yeah,
Lions fan. I'm gonna go with the Lions hype train. I'm very disappointed with Geno Smith. I really thought Geno's was gonna win and actually have a good game, but man. But I'm gonna say
honestly,
like,
the Rams came out swinging.
Hmm.
yeah. But
And that
I
was
didn't know
without
that,
Cooper
but yeah,
Cup.
they
And that
had
was
to have
without
came out
Cooper.
swinging.
Yeah. And that was without Cup, their best player.
yeah. I'm gonna say Lions probably like 28-10.
Mm. All right.
Have
Colts
you,
versus
have,
Texans. Oh, do you have something else, Zach?
yeah, I was just gonna say, did you guys see that meme where Geno Smith said, "Oh my God," when he seen Aaron Donald coming for him?
Yeah. His life
I
flashed
was
before his
dying.
eyes.
Yeah, he said,
Yeah.
"Oh my God."
That was
I thought that was
amazing.
funny.
All right. Colts versus Texans, battle of the rookie quarterbacks. One looked really good. I was shocked at how good Anthony Richardson looked. The
Hmm.
Colts actually might be better than I was giving them credit for because I thought they were going to be in contention for the first overall pick. CJ Stroud, on the other hand, did not look that good. Uh, Asshole cost me some money because he didn't throw for a touchdown. I would have hit my prize picks bet if he would have threw for a touchdown. So just for that, I'm going with the Colts. Don't got a score for it, but I will say I was very impressed by Anthony Richardson, and the defense did create some turnovers against Jacksonville. I think that was more of bad Jacksonville than good Colts. But yeah, I'm picking the Colts to pick up the win here, even though it's on the road. Zach?
I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Colts as well because I like Anthony Richardson. He looked really good. He rushed for a touchdown. I think he threw for a touchdown.
Yes, sir.
Uh, did he throw an interception? I don't believe he did, but all
He
right, I
did
think he
not.
did. He
No, he
didn't.
didn't.
Okay.
Yeah, clean game.
Um. So I I don't know. Jonathan Taylor, he's not coming back for 4 games. I am gonna
Mhm.
go with the Colts though. So I'm gonna say they really kind of let the Texans have it, really, honestly,
Yeah.
because it's just I really like Anthony Richardson's hype right now. He looks really good out there.
And the Texans defense sucks. So I feel like he's gonna have a better time when he's not having Josh Allen rushing at him, and the Jaguars have a good defense, the Texans don't. Speaking
Yeah,
of
the
defense, Zach
Texans.
Wilson,
Go ahead. I'm looking right now. What did you say?
I think Zach Wilson just threw another interception.
Did he
Really gonna
really?
suck for them because it's 13-6 right now. But it just went to commercial. I couldn't tell. But they only got Will Anderson on their defense and Derek Stingley, I
Yeah.
believe.
So you're rolling with the Colts as well. Drew, what about you?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna roll with the Colts. Anthony Richardson he looked really good. And not only that, the Colts actually has some good defensive player like DeForest Buckner, Quinn Pay, um, Darian Buckner Jr., Ronnie Thompson. There's a few key players they have in the defense. I feel like CJ Stroud is going to struggle.
Yeah. So this is a game I honestly think should be on prime time. I don't know why it's on at 12 o'clock in the afternoon, but the
Did
Kansas
you
City
guys hear the
Chiefs,
news
what?
about the Chiefs?
No, I didn't. But Kansas City Chiefs at Jacksonville Jaguars. Zach, you can go ahead and start off with the first pick here since you got some news.
All right, well, the news Chandler Jones, or not Chandler Jones, Chris Jones, he's coming back for them.
Hmm.
They got a deal worked out probably, I don't even know, like three,
It's a
four
one.
hours ago. So
Yeah.
he's nasty. I wish they weren't. I was hoping that they were going to hold them out for 8 games, honestly, being a Raiders fan. But I say, honestly, the Chiefs are going to smoke Jacksonville, I think. Even though they dropped a lot of balls last week, they didn't look good offensively. Patrick Mahomes did, but their wide receivers dropped balls that were right in the numbers, right in their hands. And I believe Andy Reid, he's a good coach. He really is, even though I hate him so much because they're just always in my division beating my team. and nobody likes that, you know.
Mm,
So, I'm going to go ahead and go with Kansas City on this one. And Trevor Lawrence, I like him. Calvin Ridley, oh my goodness. Cody,
yeah,
that's why you beat me, dude. You had like 40 points or something with just them two, dude. You were
I
like
know.
killing me, man.
That was my
It
strategy,
was
dude.
sick.
So I could stack receivers, and I got lucky with Aaron Rodgers getting hurt because I don't think Garrett Wilson's having a good game. So
Yeah, no, he's not.
I'm 1-0 in both my leagues.
I think I lost every single one week one. I'm
Really.
in four.
I am gonna roll with Jacksonville. If they can clean up those turnovers, even if the Chiefs have Travis Kelce back, I'm just high on the Jags, even though I don't like their owners too much. But I'm just high on the Jags. I'm high on Trevor Lawrence. Ridley looked good. If they can get the other receivers that had good games, but if they can get them kind of on the same level as Ridley, the Jaguars are going to be scary. And unless they get Kadarius Toney some new hands, I don't really think the Chiefs have a receiving threat except for Sky Moore. Um, Blake Bell looked good, but the things with the Lions is they didn't really have to play the tight end. So when the tight end got open, it was because no one was covering. They were dropping that safety to handle the run game because they weren't worried about getting beat because Travis Kelce wasn't there. So the Chiefs couldn't get the run game open, and when they threw it to a tight end, they were wide open because that safety was worrying about the run game. Um, Even if they get Travis Kelce back this week, I don't think he's going to be 100%. I think he'll be a little slowed down. And I'm going with Jacksonville on the upset. It's in Jacksonville too, which I think accounts for something. And Drew, you got the tiebreaker here, buddy.
I'm going with Jacksonville as well. The reason being, there's too much inconsistency with the Chiefs. You don't really have like the true number like one running back one for the Chiefs. Their wide
Mm-hmm.
receiver core is like inconsistent as like the Raiders win rate. Travis Kelce is out, like still questionable. Jawan Taylor looked like dog shit for them, and that defense they have is God. It's a lot worse than I thought. With Chris Jones, it would look better, but they got a lot of work to do to fix that Chiefs go back to the Super Bowl.
Yeah. I mean, if they can get Trevor Lawrence to start seeing ghosts, I feel like that'll help him a bit. But because Trevor Lawrence doesn't respond the best to pressure,
No,
but this one's going to be an easy one for all of us. Bears at Buccaneers, picking the Bucks. Bears suck.
but
Drew,
is
what
that?
about you?
You go ahead, Jer. You go ahead.
I think
I'm
Zach's
the I'm
pooping.
the. Man, this is the first part of the podcast. But I'm going with the Bucks. I'm a Mayfield kind of guy. Bears just dog shit. I'm not behind a Justin Fields hype. I thought he's always been bad. And, he's your typical Ohio quarterback.
Yeah. Zach, you
So
going
I
with the
am
Buck?
gonna go with the I'm gonna go with the Bears.
You going with the Bears? All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the Bears.
And then this is another one, easy one to predict. Even though the Chargers lost in week one, it was a shootout. The Dolphins are a good team. Tennessee turned the bar over a bunch. Ryan Tannehill sucks. And whoever they had to replace him is going to suck too. Tennessee is going to be awful this year. So Chargers, they're going to steamroll Tennessee.
I
Yeah,
believe the same thing, honestly.
Yeah.
there's not much to
Just be
say. Yeah, I believe too.
All right. Clean sweep there. Now, this is interesting because the Giants just got their soul taken by the Cowboys. And I don't know much about Arizona other than that they suck. But you know what? If they win one game this year, it's going to be against the Giants. Give me the Cardinals.
well, honestly, I'm gonna go with the Giants, even though they did just lose 40-0. If they don't do something right now, then their team morale is gonna be like really low. You know what I'm saying? If they can't beat the Cardinals, who do I don't even know who plays for the Cardinals anymore. I don't even think Kyler Murray's playing. Well, actually, Joshua Dobbs, he did look good last week.
Yeah.
I seen some of his stats for him. That's kind of good, honestly. I was surprised. But yeah, I got the Giants just because, man, there's no way they lose again. I mean, not saying that they're the best team or nothing like that, but they can't go out losing again after a 40-0. No way.
I don't know, man. I don't got a feeling. I don't got a good feeling about this. Drew,
I'm going with
tiebreaker.
I'm going with the Cardinals. And we'll give a little bit more prediction. I think this is going to be the first firing of a coach.
You think Brian
Sheesh.
Dable is going to get fired?
No, not Brian Cable. Maybe a coordinator.
Oh, yeah. I mean, if they come out looking bad, their offensive coordinator might be gone.
Because I don't think
Uh,
that their head coach is that bad. I think that was a coordinator problem.
yeah. I don't even know who calls plays for the Giants, but they didn't set Daniel Jones up for success. And I mean, the other thing is Daniel Jones had more carries than Saquon Barkley in that game the other night, and
Enough
that's
said. That should not be a stat line.
yeah. So, all right. All
All
right.
right, cool.
This game, I think, is going to be a beatdown. 49ers at Rams. Yeah, the 49ers defense just took apart the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Rams, I mean, they looked good against Seattle, but I feel like that was more of a fluke. And they still aren't going to have Cooper Kupp and that defense against Matt Stafford, who's a turnover machine. Yeah, I'm going 49ers by a lot.
I'm going to go ahead and go with 49ers too. Brock Purdy, he looked excellent. Uh, Christian McCaffrey, he's a dog. And yeah, like you said, I didn't expect the Rams to do anything because honestly, I really thought that the freaking Seahawks won. But,
Mm.
you know, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with 49ers. Good
Yeah.
14, 17 points, something like that, if not more.
Yeah, they're going to steamroll them. It's going to be a good week to have the 49ers defense on your fantasy team.
Yeah.
As pains me to say this, I want to see the 49ers lose because the majority of my family's 49ers fans. But I'm gonna say 49ers gonna win like 42-7. And because 49ers just has so much weapons and that defense is nasty.
Yeah.
And Brock Purdy is that guy for 49ers.
Yeah. I love Purdy. I think he's really good. And the 49ers, this is their one chance to win the Super Bowl because next year that Nick Bosa contract kicks in, that Deebo Samuel contract kicks in, about $130 worth of their cap is going to be taken up by like 10 players next year. So the 49ers really got to get it done this year, especially with having Purdy on that rookie contract.
Yeah, because when his contract comes around, he's gonna
Yeah.
get paid.
So the one rule with this podcast is I don't predict Cowboys games because I ain't jinxing us. I didn't pick us last week or anything. So all I'm gonna say is if pretty boy Rogers ain't playing, I like our chances. You guys can go ahead with this game.
I'm going to go ahead and go with, if Rogers is out for sure, Cowboys. But if Rogers is just like, he just got like a little hurt on his ankle or something, I can see the Jets coming out and doing a couple of things, But I'm gonna go ahead and go with the Cowboys because they looked phenomenal. Y'all's defense looked great, but Dak, he's gonna have to get it together.
Okay, I'll be a little more harsh than last week. If the boogeyman comes to Dallas, Rogers has the Cowboys numbers. The Jets going to pretty much curse stop the Cowboys if Rogers plays. But here's the thing: if Rogers doesn't play, the Jets are better than Giants, hands down. But the Cowboys offense did kind of look sloppy against the Giants, in my opinion. Even though they had the 3 touchdowns, I would still like to see a little bit more hustle with them. But if it's going to depend on Rogers. Rogers plays is easy Jets. If Rodgers don't, Cowboys just curse sauce them.
Yeah, because I don't like Zach Wilson against Micah Parsons, Stephon Gilmore, Trayvon Diggs, Ron Bland, Demarcus Lawrence. But Rodgers, yeah. So I think the Broncos are going to rebound against the Commanders. That's just a feeling I have, even though I don't think the Broncos are any good. I don't think the Commanders are any good either, and I'm picking the Broncos to rebound at home.
I'm going to go ahead and say the same thing just because, honestly, I know my defense isn't all anything, but Russell Wilson, he was making a lot of rollout passes that were good. He didn't look bad at all. Um, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and go with the Broncos. Sam Howell, is that how you say his name?
Yeah,
Or
Yeah.
okay, he looked pretty good, honestly. He didn't for him being who he is, he didn't look bad at all, but I don't see
yeah,
him going out and winning another game.
yeah. Especially
Or at least not against the Broncos is what I'm saying. But
because I mean, they let the Cardinals hang in with them, and that isn't a
yeah,
good mark on Washington.
right,
Drew,
right.
you going with the clean sweep?
So I'm looking at the Washington Redskins. No, sorry, not the Redskins. The Commanders. Look at the depth chart. They have a lot of people in their injured reserve, and a lot of them are questionable and suspended. It's,
Yeah.
I think the Broncos are going to win, but I think it's going to be kind of like an ugly win. It's going to be close, kind of like a 18-21 close.
Hmm.
Because I don't think the Broncos is good, but I don't think they're good enough to like curse on the Commanders.
Yeah, I think it'll be close. I think it'll be boring because the Broncos defense is boring or offense is boring, and the Commanders offense is boring. So I think it's going to be more low scoring. I think 13-10.
But here's the thing with Russell Wilson: when Max Crosby got off his edge, and pretty much Max Crosby had Russell Wilson's numbers. And
Yeah.
if Chase Young, yeah, he's questionable right now, but if he plays, he pretty much did the same thing what Max Crosby did. I can see the Commanders winning. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, and the Broncos, or not the Broncos, the Commanders have a lot of people on their defensive line. There are a lot of dudes you've never heard of because, the team sucks, but the Commanders' defensive line is good.
Yeah, they're Commanders off defensive line. It's just pretty much Alabama. Chase Young, Deron Payne, Jonathan Allen, Montez West. I think they're all from Alabama.
They might be. I have no idea. Looks like Chase Young's going to be out until week 3.
Yeah, true. But Montez Sweat, can
Yeah.
play.
Yeah. Dolphins at Patriots. I got the Dolphins by a lot. I don't think the Patriots got anyone that can keep up with Hill and Waddle.
I think it's gonna be a blowout. Dolphins is gonna win by 3 miles.
Yeah, this is a terrible game to have on Sunday night. It should be the Chiefs and Jaguars.
This is gonna be the reason why I'm taking the Patriots running back off my chart.
Yeah, not a bad idea. Well, I don't know. Austin Eckler and his backup both had a bunch of rushing yards against the Dolphins. I might keep them if I was you.
I don't know. David Montgomery looked pretty good. And plus, I got Joe Mixon now.
Yeah, but he's also splitting carries with Jahmyr Gibbs. I put
Sure.
Stevenson in your flex spot.
I probably will, depending on Jacoby Myers'
Zach, who you,
stats.
pick, Zach, who you picking for
I,
this game?
I am gonna pick the Dolphins as well. I don't know who they're gonna have on Tyreek because I mean, like you guys said, I don't think anybody's that fast. They got that rookie Christian Gonzalez. He's pretty good, but I don't think he's that fast. So I think it's going to be a Dolphins win, easy win. Bill Bell, he's about to retire soon. His teams are not looking good no more.
I said this in my live stream the other night. I think Bill is just coaching to beat Don Shula's all-time wins record, and after that, he's gone from New England. He still has like I think 20
Probably.
more wins to go.
Yeah, and
I
then
can
there's
see that
probably no
happening.
one ever going to do that again
Yeah.
for them. So
Josh Allen just threw his third interception to Whitehead of the Jets.
Jesus Christ. Are you trying to lose?
they're getting close to it. The Jets have a chance to tie it up. If Rodgers was playing, they'd be blowing them out right now. By the way, y'all, we are recording this on Monday night. Um, Speaking of Monday night, there is going to be two Monday night games next week. Saints at
What?
Panthers. Yeah, Saints at Panthers. That game is going to be interesting. I think the Saints win because Panthers, they did not look good, and the Saints, I think, are a better team than the Falcons.
I'm gonna go ahead and
So
say the same thing. I didn't watch the Saints at all. Didn't keep up with them at all or anything, but I'm gonna go ahead and say the Saints. I don't think the Panthers have what it takes on defense to do what it takes. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, you rolling with your
I mean,
boy Carr, Drew?
I'm a big car fan. I'm just looking right quick. Hold on.
my dad hates Derek Carr, dude.
Really?
Yeah, he was so happy when the Raiders got rid of him.
What's he think of Jimmy G?
I mean, after he was happy, once I told him that we got him, and then I told him he's just like, basically the same thing, just another Derek Carr, and he's like, "Are you kidding me?" He just starts blowing up and going crazy. He's like, "Do you mean to tell me we got rid of a Derek Carr to get another one?" I said, "I mean, kind of. He's won more games on. I mean, he looks better on paper than Derek Carr, but it's only because he's played on better teams. I feel like, you know."
Yeah. I'm gonna roll with the Saints. Yeah, I'm gonna roll with the Saints. If with Derek Carr's weakness, if you put pressure on him, that's where he starts doing a lot of his mistakes. With the Panthers, they have Brian Burns, and they also have Shaq Thomas, Justin Houston, Frank Louis. Frank Louis is okay. Their D tackles are good run stuffers. I wouldn't be shocked this will be upset in my opinion. But I'm gonna roll with the Saints with Derek Carr, my homeboy Derek Carr.
All right. And then Browns at Steelers. Oh man, I don't want to pick the Browns just because I hate them, but I'm gonna just because God, Pittsburgh looked terrible against San Francisco.
Go ahead and say the Steelers on this one, just because I think Deshaun Watson, he looks pretty good, but I don't think he can keep going to be, you know, a good quarter. I mean, he was good when he went to the Texans and played there for a while, but I think after being 2 years off, he's not going to be elite like he was. I think he'll be all right, but I think the Steelers defense is going to shut him down.
And the reason I'm going with the Browns, Nick Chubb, because the Steelers defense allowed 165 yards to Christian McCaffrey, and Nick Chubb is
Mhm.
just as good as McCaffrey.
Right. Yeah.
Drew, what about you, bro?
I'm going with the Cleveland Sausages. The reason being, like you said, is Nick Chubbs and Miles Garrett has like every quarterback's number, and Browns defense is actually not that bad, but it's not that good either. You got the convicted felon a quarterback. He could do some plays here and there, but he's pretty much dog water. But they still have Amari Cooper. Peoples Jones is all right. Jojoku, he's a player here and there. And their Browns offensive line is still okay. But yeah, I hate to say it, but the convicted felons is gonna take the win.
All right. Well, that's all the games that we have this week. These first couple weeks are going to be loaded because all the teams are playing. Once the bye weeks start rolling in and more teams start looking like dog shit, these predictions are going to roll a lot faster. Zach, thank you for being on here, bro. I'm glad you did the predictions with us, man.
Oh yeah, I'm glad you guys invited me, and I'll be back on next week.
All right, and we'll see who won the predictions. They said we're not counting the Cowboys game because I didn't pick that one.
Okay, that's fine. Did
All
you write them
right.
down?
I'll watch the video next week after the games are over and see who who did well. I'll do it after the games are over next week. It might be hard since the Monday night games are going to be played while we're recording, but if it's late enough and it's a blowout, then we'll be able to tell.
Yeah, for sure.
And if not, then they'll account for the week after.
Oh yeah.
All right, buddy. Well, I'll see you next week, man.
All right. See you. You guys
See
have a
ya.
good one, Drew.
You too, man. Good
See you,
seeing
buddy.
you.
See you,
Oh
buddy.
yeah. See you.
See ya. All right, and that was our predictions for this week. Jets look like they're making a comeback. It's first and goal at the 6 yard line. Drew,
Like, are the Bills are trying to lose? Like, bro.
it's the third 3 interception game of Josh Allen's career. If that was Dak Prescott, you would be seeing memes all over Facebook right now. Josh Allen threw, I think, one less interception than Dak Prescott last year. But did you hear about it all off season? And he had way more fumbles than Dak. Just saying.
You got points there.
Yeah. But I think that's it. I don't think we got any other topics. Like I said, this is going to be a sports broadcast for the next couple months till football season ends. It's always kind of been loosely a sports podcast since me and Drew took over. You know, we've talked about anime and gay sex and stuff like that on the show before. But you know, it's football season. All of us are passionate about football in our friend group. You know, it's that time of year. And like I said, the predictions hopefully aren't gonna run as long. Garrett Wilson just scored, by the way, so Zach's about to close the gap on our fantasy game. But yeah, bear with us, people. If you don't like football, I'm sorry, dude, but it's gonna be the main focus of this podcast.
Tough titty.
Yeah. If something crazy happens to us, you know, this we'll talk about it on the show. We'll open up with it, but this was a boring week, you know. My off days have changed and now I have Sundays off and you know, all I did was watch football all day yesterday and all I did was get the tag renewed on my car, you know. So a boring week. I don't even remember what happened at work last week, you know, and Drew's just out there banging gilfs and slaying puss, you know.
And getting probably promoted.
Yeah. And eating freaking ramen with a fork because he's a pussy that won't use chopsticks.
Real.
Just giving you a hard time there. But thank you to everyone that enjoyed the Jordan episode of the Trainwreck podcast. Leave a review on Spotify. Sorry to Spotify listeners. I tried to watch last week's episode on Spotify and it didn't play video at all. So if it's not supporting video anymore, I'm sorry about that. I guess I could have checked out like Joe Rogan's podcast to see if it still played video on there, but for us it didn't. But YouTube's our bread and butter, you know. 412 subscribers now. Shout out to Christian, buddy. We worked on the Cleveland remodel. You know, we did a whole podcast episode about that. He's now a subscriber and a listener to this channel. So shout out to him. Drew, thank you for holding it down, man. Love you, dude. And thank you to Zach for being on here.
I just want to point out the video's playing the latest episode.
On Spotify?
Yeah, it's playing.
Okay.
I'm listening to it right now.
Huh.
Watching it.
It didn't do it for me the other day, but maybe it's because I wasn't connected to Wi-Fi or something.
Probably. Yeah, it's working.
Yeah. Well, that was episode 23. See y'all next week. We'll see whose predictions were the best. I mean, we all kind of went the same way on a lot of picks, you know, but I feel like, you know, we got to see every team play this week and we kind of know what we're getting now.
Yeah. You're going to get a little more wacky picks.
Yeah. So always remember propane over charcoal and have a good night.
Peace, love, and hand jobs.
Peace, love, and hand jobs.